Om Shri Sai Ram, offering our most prayerful and humble salutations at Bhagwan's lotus feet. Dear viewers and listeners, Sai Ram to one and all. As Shivaratri is fast approaching, it's indeed a privilege and a blessing for all of us to think, to contemplate, and to reminisce over some of the beautiful aspects of the wonderful mantra Shri Rudram. Sai Ram Bhargav.
Sai Ram Ganesh. What was that, Ganesh?
Are you reminded of something special, Bhargav?
Are you indicating about the ringing of the bell when the Rudra Paranam is happening? Is
exactly.
It that?
Exactly.
So there's a particular place where it happens actually. What is that? Can you elaborate?
So whenever we are part of some Rudra Homam or a Rudrabhishekam, we come across the priests playing the bell when the 8th Anuvaka starts.
Correct.
Why is it so? Why not in the beginning of the chanting of the Shri Rudram or the Rudrabhishekam?
Correct.
It is said that out of all the types of learnings, the Shrutis or the Vedas are the ultimate. In the Shrutis or the Vedas, the Rudropanishad's 11 Anuvakas are the essence. And out of those 11 Anuvakas, Namah Shivaya, the Panchakshari Mantram, is the essence or the ultimate. In that Namah Shivaya, the two syllables Shiva are the most sacred and auspicious syllables. That word Shiva is the most auspicious one. Bhargav, in the 8th Anuvaka, we come across this particular line, Namah Shivaya Cha Shivataraya Cha. So it is said that the Namah Shivaya Cha Shivataraya Cha, the 11 syllables in this particular mantra, if it is chanted, or if you chant Namah Shivaya, even though you do not get to chant this Namah Shivaya, even if you chant this 2-syllable word Shiva, that itself will take you or lead you to understand or get the Purusharthas of life, Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha.
So beautiful. So Ganesh, I have one question now. You're talking about Shiva, but this thing which we are doing today, this mantra which we are doing today is Sri Rudram. So why Rudram and name is Rudram but you're talking about Shiva? Then what is it? Who is Rudra then?
So when we come across various meanings about Rudra, one of the meanings is so wonderfully or very nicely put. The root word, one of the root words is Rudana. The meaning of that is crying.
You're telling chant everything and cry? This sounds a little bad.
So all the viewers and listeners would be confused as to why these people are starting with a negative note.
Yes.
So there are two aspects that Swami covers in context with crying. Swami wonderfully tells in a couplet, Kanniru tappinchu, kanniru teppinchu. Means, I will make you cry and I will also simultaneously wipe your tears. So we must be wondering, what is it that Swami is trying to explain to us? So kanniru tappinchu, he wipes our tears as we cry for the world. He brings us out of that worldly attachment. Kanniru teppinchu, he allows us or gives us that spirit or that spark of divinity or love within our hearts so that we cry out for the Lord.
Means you're telling that whenever we get the tears of anguish, sorrow or disillusionment or any type of negative thoughts or feelings, he wipes those tears.
Yes.
But when we think about the Lord, when we think about His glory and when we think about devotion towards Him, the tears which come to us are the tears of joy.
Exactly.
So beautiful. Any experience? I think one experience comes to our mind. Ganesh?
Yes, Bhargav. I'm reminded of a wonderful story narrated by Brother Sai Shravanam. This was an experience of his grandfather. Once when Swami had come to his house, it was the habit of brother's grandfather that he always used to cry whenever he used to see Swami's picture in his house. So when Swami came into their home, when Swami was about to take Aarti, his grandmother approached Swami and told, Swami, I don't know why my husband always keeps crying whenever he sees your picture. We do not understand what it is all about. And then Swami asks them, or Swami tells them such a beautiful lesson. Swami tells, have you ever seen him crying? And then Swami explains how he cries. See, whenever a person cries, when he gets tears from inside the eyes, then it is for the world, or it is through anguish, it is through pain, it is through sorrow. But whenever someone cries and gets tears through the edges of your eyes, it is through happiness or it is through bliss. Ananda Kanniru.
Okay.
And then Swami asks his grandmother, see, do you ever see him crying from inside the eyes? No. Always he sheds his tears from the ends of his eyes. So he always cries for the Lord. Those are Ananda Kanniru.
So beautiful. So Ganesh, now after getting to know what actually is Rudra, so next comes few points in the first Anuvaka. When you go to the ending of first Anuvaka, one particular name is Tripurantakaya. It's a very interesting name. Let us chant that the small mantra, then we'll discuss that. Om
Namastey Astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Trayambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikagnikalaya Kalagni Rudraya Neelakantaya Mrutyunjaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Sriman Mahadevaya Namaha.
So Ganesh, in this story is very simple that there are three Rakshasas by name Tarakaksha, Vidyunmali and Kamalaksha. They do penance to please Lord Brahma and, as always, get a boon of immortality. So Brahma says, I will give you three cities, one made of gold, one made of silver, one made of iron. And they are unbreakable. No one can destroy them. But only at one point of time when all of them are in line, which happens in a very, very, very long time, then Shiva can come and destroy them. So the story goes that that moment comes and with one arrow, Shiva destroys all the three cities and all the three demons are annihilated. So this is the story. But the inner meaning is very beautiful. So the three demons can be the three states of existence, the three avasthas, that is Jagrata, Swapna, Shushupti, that is awakened state, dream state and deep sleep state, or past, present, future, or the three bodies, Sthula, Sukshma, Karana. So, everything is these three, the triad which you call them. So, what happens is when we have a unison between these three bodies which we have and the three avasthas, that is Jagrata, Sapna, Shushupti. So when that comes, at that moment, when everything is in unity, that moment the grace of the Lord dawns on us and we understand that this whole universe is nothing but oneness. So when these three cities come together, when we do sadhana to get that unity, like Swami says, Tikarna Shuddhi.
The body, mind and the intellect.
Intellect or the soul. All three are. Swami says that Manasekam, Vachasekam, Karmanyekam. When we reach that state, then when we reach that with paripurnata, with fullness, with completeness, then Swami's grace or Shiva's grace dawns on us and we realize that we go beyond these three. So that is a Tripurantaka. It is not that it's the story is that they kill the demons, but it is those aspects within us which are annihilated, and we reach the state which called in Mandakya Upanishad we call it as the Turyavastha.
Yes.
So that is the inner significance of Tripurantaka or Tripurantakaya.
It is so beautiful, Bhargav. See, when Shiva or Rudra destroys the three puras, what happens? The end product is nothing but vibhuti.
Correct.
So when Trikarana Shuddhi is followed, when you become Manasekam, Vachasekam, Karmanyekam, Mahatmanam, there is one more aspect of vibhuti. Vibhuti is not only ash, sacred ash, but it also signifies Aishwaryam or the ultimate wealth. So the ultimate wealth is nothing but the immortality or the union with the Lord. So that, I think, is the essence of this word called Tripurantakaya.
You know, as in Mandakya Upanishad, there is a line which says, Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante. Means that state, how is the state? It is Shantam, it is Prashanti, the complete peace. And then it is Shivam, auspiciousness, as you told, na? Shivaya, Shivataraya. And Advaitam, non-dual. No, there is nothing else that exists. Only you exist. That is the Chaturtham Manyante. According to the rishis and the Vedic seers, that is the fourth state, which is beyond these three states. And that is what governs everything else in this whole universe. So that is the fourth state. And even in Ishavasya Upanishad, the same thing comes.
Tatrako moha kashoka ekatva manupashyataha. Means once you get rid of this moha or bodily attachment, you attain that particular state. And then when we were trying to look into the meaning or the essence of the word Rudram, it is explained that Rudra is Brahman. So, and this Ayamatma Brahma, as Mandukya Upanishad tells, and as Ishavasya Upanishad tells this Tatrako moha kashoka ekatva manupashyataha, then what is it that we attain? So we are telling that Rudra is Brahman. So now when we go deeper into what Swami has told, and we start delving little more deep into Swami's literature, we find so many things that Swami had told. Because as we keep discussing in the Veda Jignasa program, Bhargav, whatever Swami has told is in the Vedas, was told by our respected Gandikota Subramanya Shastri Garu. And his son, G.V. Subbarao Garu, he once asked him, Father, you keep telling that whatever Swami speaks is there in the Vedas. Then he asks him to bring some Sanatana Sarthi books and asks him to read one or two lines from Swami's literature. And then he gives a parallel from the Upanishads and the Vedic texts, what Swami has told. So when we are talking about this Rudra is Brahman, the final state that Tatrako moha kashoka ekatva manupashyataha, as Ishavasya Upanishad tells, when the body attachment is gone, you realize that ultimate truth. Here, I am reminded of one beautiful experience of Professor Kasturi. In his final days, it was, I think, in June 1987, on Guru Purnima day, when Swami was giving his discourse, his daughter, Mrs. Padmamma, she goes to attend Swami's discourse, and her son, Mr. Ramesh Kasturi, he was sitting with Kasturi Garu, and out of nowhere, Kasturi Garu calls him and tells, announce to everyone that Kasturi is no more. Kasturi is dead. I am the Atma.
Oh.
And that is the state of realization. And from then on, he stops consuming food, or any other kind of intake does not happen. And slowly we know what happens to his mortal coil and how Swami grants him liberation. So this is the way one has to leave his body.
Ganesh, you know, when you told that everything is Brahma, so it's a very interesting, very sweet thing which Swami always, it's a couplet which Swami sings, a beautiful padyam. And that is also there in our Rudram third Anuvaka. It's, I think, one of our favorites. Sabhabhyas sabhapatibhyascha vo namaha. Means the sabha also is you.
The assembly.
The assembly. And the one who is sabhapati, who's presiding over the assembly also is you. So in our case, we directly go back to those days when, Swami used to sit in Kulwant Hall and just looks at the whole assembly of devotees craning their necks to see him.
Yes.
And then Swami used to just shower his grace, his smiles, and his darshan and all. And to sum this up, Swami so sweetly sings in his own sweet voice that padyam.
Yes. So that will sum up what we have told, that Rudra is Brahman and everything is Brahman.
Yes.
So we shall listen to Swami's padyam.
చుక్కలన్నీయు బ్రహ్మ చుక్కలన్నీయు బ్రహ్మ సూర్యుండు అది బ్రహ్మ చుక్కలన్నీయు బ్రహ్మ సూర్యుండు అది బ్రహ్మ చంద్రుడన్నను బ్రహ్మ జలము బ్రహ్మ చంద్రుడన్నను బ్రహ్మ జలము బ్రహ్మ స్వర్గమన్నను బ్రహ్మ వైకుంఠమది బ్రహ్మ స్వర్గమన్నది బ్రహ్మ వైకుంఠమది బ్రహ్మ తల్లి అన్నను బ్రహ్మ తండ్రి బ్రహ్మ భాగ్యమన్నను బ్రహ్మ వాలభ్యమది బ్రహ్మ జీవరాశులు బ్రహ్మ జీవి బ్రహ్మ పుట్టించుటది బ్రహ్మ పోషించుటది బ్రహ్మ పుట్టించుటది బ్రహ్మ పోషించుటది బ్రహ్మ గిట్టించుటది బ్రహ్మ గృహిణి బ్రహ్మ కర్మలన్నీయు బ్రహ్మ కర్మలన్నీయు బ్రహ్మ కాయంబు బ్రహ్మ ప్రకృతి అంతయు బ్రహ్మ ప్రాణంబు అది బ్రహ్మ ప్రకృతి అంతయు బ్రహ్మ ప్రాణంబు అది బ్రహ్మ సర్వమంతయు బ్రహ్మ ఈ సభయు బ్రహ్మ సత్యమును తెలుపునట్టి ఈ సాయి బ్రహ్మ సత్యమును తెలుపునట్టి ఈ సాయి బ్రహ్మ.
So if you come back to the same third Anuvaka, because we have already discussed about it, after the Sabhabhya Sabhapatibhyascha and then the fourth Anuvaka, there's lot of mention comes about Ratha, means the chariot. The chariot, the charioteer, the one who makes the chariot, the carpenters who make the chariot. So all that things, a lot of things of that nature come. So one is fine, taking from a mundane level, whatever we need for our day-to-day living, the chariots, the way you conduct yourself in life, all these things are very important. But if you go a little deeper, Ratha is actually our body. There is one small line which comes in Sri Suktam. Ashvapurvam Rathamadhyam Hastinada Prabodhinim. Means, if you remember in Veda Jigyasa also we had mentioned this. So the Ratha is the body. The Ashvas in this case are the senses. And the one who presides over this is Mother. Means the Rathi, the one, the indweller of this chariot is Mother. And it is nothing but our own bodies. So Swami says that Deho Devalayah Prokto Jivo Deva Sanatana. Means God himself is the indweller. So when we talk about this particular aspect of Rathebhyo, Rathibhyascha, Rathapatibhyascha, all these things come. So we always should remember that we are talking about this body, which is a temple of God, which Swami says. So that is one thing. Now, when we go to the next aspect of it, when this is body, this is temple of God, and it is, Swami says, it is divine. How to realize it? That's the next question which comes. So I think, Ganesh, we are going to hop and skip, and probably pick up words, because in this
it's a vast ocean of Sri Rudram.
Probably even one word or one drop, if you can taste, will be something very, very special. So the next thing which comes to our mind is Nam Somaya Cha, Rudraya Cha. So the Soma is a very interesting word again. And it's really very interesting in context of the Ratha or the chariot. So Soma, if you just go to a normal Sanskrit dictionary, it says Sa Uma, means someone who is with Uma, means the mother Parvati or Uma is with him, the Ardhanarishwara. That's one aspect. Second is Soma. Soma is the moon. No, he even who carries the moon, who has the coolness of moon. Soma Shekhara, Chandra Shekhara. But there's one more very interesting meaning which says the distilled essence, the essence of everything, the rasa. So Soma is, we all know that, Devas go and they drink the Soma juice and they get immortal and they get bliss. So we found a very interesting story, Ganesh. So we want to just share with our listeners. The story goes that once Indra gets very thirsty. He has got unquenchable thirst, not able to bear it. So he prays to Mother Gayatri. Oh Mother, please help me in quenching my thirst. What she does, she takes the form of an eagle, goes to the Mujavan mountain. I don't know what the meaning of that again. And then picks up the Soma creeper. And while she was doing that, the sentries or the security guards of moon are guarding it. They find her. She dodges them. The eagle dodges them, gets successful in picking up the Soma creeper, and comes back and gives the Soma creeper to Lord Indra. Indra squeezes it, drinks the juice, and his thirst is quenched. He is in bliss. Nice story. But
a fantastic fantasy story.
But that's the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. If you just take it as a fantasy and a nice beautiful story and just brush it aside, we are missing something. So if you go little deeper into that, in the Vedic age, Indra was the master of senses, master of the divine mind, because Indra comes in many places in the Vedic literature. So Indra is supposed to be the master of the senses and the mind. So he is thirsty. When he is thirsty for the real knowledge, then whom he prays to, whom he beseeches? Mother Gayatri. So Swami always says Gayatri sadhana is the best sadhana. When you're taking bath, 9 times Gayatri. Before food, probably 3 times Gayatri. Before sleep, chant Gayatri. Or Sandhya time, morning or evening, chant Gayatri. Why? I think this story gives us a hint of that. So Mother Gayatri has the capacity. Means Indra prays to Mother Gayatri. She says no problem. She just goes. She goes to this particular place where the Soma creeper is there. And there the sentries of the mind are guarding it. The vagaries of our mind, the fecalness of our mind. The Swami says it's mad monkey. Mind is a mad monkey which is bitten by a scorpion and which is drunk. So who has the capacity to dodge that mind and get the real knowledge is Mother Gayatri. So she does that and gives it back to Lord Indra. He drinks that Soma juice and gets his thirst quenched. So to get the real knowledge of the self, the best thing to do is do Gayatri sadhana. I think when we chant Gayatri, she will take care of wherever to go and get it. That is, Mother herself will take care of that. This is one thing. So,
there is one more beautiful explanation for this word Soma. It is like immortality. But how do we get immortality is the question that one has to put for himself. So it is mentioned that only when one loses body consciousness that they can attain immortality. Or in other words, as Swami beautifully tells it in 3 beautiful sentences, bend the body, mend the senses, and end the mind. So we have so many examples of such
such experiences of this. Okay, one thing before when you tell that, one thing which comes to my mind, being students, is the bend the body, mend the senses, and the mind is the sports meet. Swami gives us the opportunity to bend our bodies, do something which is very difficult to actually attain apparently, and mend the senses means concentrate all our faculties on doing the task, making that event special, but with only one thought, making Swami happy, getting that smile on his face.
exactly.
So what happens when we toil or when we do that hard work? I don't say toil. When we do that, with joy, when we do that effort, the final culmination of it in the sports meet, we see the spectacle which happens in front of us. And Swami always gives that smile. Na pillalu baga chesaru. My children have done well. I'm happy. So when we do that with that single focus of making Swami happy, making God happy, in that effort we get the joy. So it means that the soma creeper has to be squeezed to get the juice out. So we have to squeeze our body, mind and senses complex. Means we have to do that effort, that sadhana, to make him happy. So any such experience on this, Ganesh?
Bhargav, when we closely analyze or closely dwell into what Swami has done to our lives or the lives of multitudes of devotees, Swami set up this beautiful organization called Sri Satya Sai Seva Organizations. Why did not Swami choose some other name? Why only Seva Organization? It is only when your body, mind and intellect are introduced selflessly into the service of the mankind can this moksha or immortality be achieved.
Correct.
Because at some point of time you have to analyze and you have to realize that you are not one. You are a part of this entire creation, and the person who is opposite to you or who is next to you is also God. How do we make this happen? When you involve yourself in selfless service, this can happen. I'm reminded of one wonderful incident that happened in Prashantilayam. It was, I think, during some birthday celebration or some festival was going on, and the toilets near the North Indian canteen, I think there was some problem in the drainage system, and the entire water was flushing out, and a lot of foul smell was felt to all the devotees. It so happened that during one of the sessions, when Swami was going for darshan, he stopped in a place and he told, "Are you able to smell something bad?"
Okay.
And he just told that particular sentence and he left. And then all the Sevadal members, all the elders rushed to the spot, and to their utter amazement, the entire place was overflowing and people were wondering what to do because the drainage was clogged very badly. As this commotion was going on, out of nowhere, a Sevadal member came forward. He just removed his shirt, jumped into the drainage. For 15 long minutes, he was there inside that. He removed all the clutter. He cleared the drainage and he came out as if he had not done anything. And then the members who were there next to him had washed him. He took his shirt and went as easily as he had come. Very, very unassumingly.
Okay.
So the people who were standing there were stumped, astonished at this act of the Sevadal member. And then the incident did not end there. After the Seva, all the Sevadal members have this grand or blissful opportunity to take Pad Namaskar from Swami. And then as Swami was walking through the lines of these Sevadal members, Swami had passed this particular person. And then he gave vibhuti to him, went forward and stepped back again to this person. And then looked at him, waved his hand, created a ring, put it to his finger and told him, "Your service has reached me. You have no more life, no more birth. Marujanma ledu."
So beautiful.
The body, consciousness was lost. He had done selfless service and he received the fruit of immortality. That Soma juice, the essence, Raso Vai Saha,
Yes.
had been given to him.
When you talk about Raso Vai Saha, about the Soma juice, I always remember, the Laghunyasam. It says Amrutam. Everything is Amrutam. So I think, Ganesh, you should share this experience of Amrutam also.
Yes. Actually, we always wonder, what does Swami want to give us? Swami always tells, I keep giving you everything so that one day you ask me for what I have come to give you. It so happened that one of the Shivaratri celebrations, our dance group had the greatest fortune to perform in front of Swami. This was post Maha Samadhi. And then we had an opportunity to perform dance for this Laghunyasam mantram. So which tells the meaning that you had conveyed. Please grant us immortality. So after the program was over, we were, as the bhajans were going on, just a thought passed in my mind. If Swami was present now physically, Swami would have come down, taken photographs with us, and given some prasadam. It would have been so wonderful. And this was the random thought that went in my mind. Swami would have given some gift to us. And then the thought, I brushed it aside and then thought, Swami, no, I have to do it for you. You have to be happy. That is the only goal.
Yes.
And then the aarti was over and we went backstage. And as we were changing into our normal clothes, a devotee came running to me and asked me, Sir, I wanted to give you something from the evening. I'm waiting for you. And then I was wondering what he wanted to give me. And then he told, Sir, actually, I wanted to give it to you before the program, but I thought it would be perfect if I give it after the program. And then I asked him, Sir, what do you want to give me, sir? And then from his pocket, he removed a bottle of Amrutam, which he had got it from Alagappa, the ashram in Mysore, Srirangapatnam. And then he showed me that bottle of nectar. Then I was like taken aback, and the single thought which passed through my mind, it caught Swami's notice.
Yes.
And he wanted to give us not a small prasadam, but Amrutatvam. Then I called all the dance boys and he himself put those few drops of Amrutam in our mouths, and
Blissful.
the blissful.
You're tempting me to tell one more experience of mine. You're talking about bhavam, talking about a small thought, and Swami doesn't, Swami acknowledges it. He doesn't allows you to escape the thought. There is, we have a small Shivalingam at home, and then every day morning I do, because we know Rudram, I do just a very normal, with some jalam, I do Rudra Abhishekam. We just chant Rudram and then do Abhishekam. So, a very nice thought came to me that sometime, it was somewhere in the beginning of 2000s, that time, that, during November, December, January, it's very cold. So, Papam, it's so cold, so why should I do it with cold water? Let me just warm it a little, lukewarm water, and then do Abhishekam to the Shivalingam. I started doing that. One day, those days Swami used to come up for darshan only at around 6:30, 6:45 also. So one day I got late. So I actually forgot to warm the water. I just did Abhishekam normally, and then I started walking towards Mandir. So, when I was about to reach Mandir, I realized that, oh my God, I forgot today. But the monkey mind, it says, so what? Swami Shiva stays in the Kailasha. Why he needs warm water? He stays in ice cold Kailasha Parvata. So he doesn't need all that. And I brushed this aside and went and sat in bhajan hall. So that day Swami came for bhajans, and I was sitting somewhere in the 4th or 5th line. I was a little behind. And I was oblivious to, I was just seeing Swami and I was lost. Swami came, there was those 3 steps. You get on, Swami used to get onto the steps, then on the footstool, and then sit on the sofa, on his throne. So beautiful it was. So he sat there and then like as if nothing happened. I'm in my world here, I'm somewhere in 6th or 7th line behind, and Swami is sitting on the throne. Bhajans are going on. Swami is in bliss. He is closing his eyes and is, the way we looking him only, we forget ourselves. So out of the blue, I got the thought again, oh, I didn't do that Abhishekam with warm water, and the thought came and went. Probably within the next moment, Swami sneezed. And I don't know, it's not a coincidence. Swami sneezed and then he took his, the hanky on the table, on his chair, and then wiped his nose, and as if apparently he is having slight running nose and he has a sneeze, and then continued. Nothing happened. But I got the message. Well, Swami didn't look at me or something, but he told that. He did that. When he did that, I got the message. When the thought passed my mind, okay, what is there? Shiva stays in the ice cold mountains. He doesn't need me to warm the water and do Abhishekam. Swami responded immediately, no. When you're doing something sincerely, don't falter. Don't stop that. Continue that practice always. Because it reaches me. I think with that one particular sneeze, only one sneeze, a sweet sneeze Swami did, that gave that message to me that whenever you do something, like you told, do with the bhavam, do with perseverance. Then he will accept that sadhana or that activity of yours, and he'll acknowledge it also. So Ganesh, the next question which will come is that I'm going to chant the Rudram. Fine, I'm chanting the whole thing. But there is always this particular aspect that you should know the meaning when you chant it. So if you don't know the meaning, can we chant it? Or will it have the same effect or not? This is a very interesting experience, which was happened somewhere in 200 years back. This is somewhere in Sringeri. There was this, the pontiff that time was Chandrasekhar Bharati, Swamigal. So he was the pontiff there, and one devotee comes to him. He asks him that his wife is terminally ill, very, very badly ill. So he comes for his blessing. Swami, please help me. Do something for my wife because she is not going to recover at all. He is a practicing Vedic Pandit. He knows Vedam a lot. So the Swamiji looks at him and smiles and says, really, you don't know what to do? She says, no, Swami, you tell me what to do. He says, you don't know what to do at all? He says, no, you tell me, please. Do you know Rudram? He says, yes, I know. Emphatically he says, yes, I know Rudram. Do you know the Dhyana mantra of Rudram? Well, yes. Chant it. So he starts, Apa, Tara, Nabhastalant, Bhuvana, Brahmanda. He chants the whole thing. In the end, it comes Rudranuvaka Japan. Means, he says, what that means? I will do Japam of Rudra. The Rudra Prashna. He says, that is enough. Even in Dhyana Shloka, you're telling that you have to just chant the Rudram. Why didn't you chant Rudram? He says, really? He told, yes. But, if I go back to my place from here, by the time I travel and go, I think it will be too late for my wife. Why should you go back? In Sringeri, this Tunga river is there. He says, sit on the banks of Tunga, do your Rudra Parayanam. At the end of the Rudra Parayanam, take little water, offer it as if you're offering to her, and finish your Parayanam for few days. So he does this for some 7 to 10 days. And then, to his utter amazement, he gets the news that she is recovered, she is hale and hearty, she is doing all household chores which she is supposed to do. So that is the efficacy of Rudram. It is, so many times that word Bhishak or Bheshaji means the universal physician, the universal doctor is Shiva. And the cure of all ills in this age is Rudram. Swami always says, Bhadramu chepte Bhadramuga untaru.
Yes.
So I think when we chant Rudram, we are getting so much of benefit out of that.
Exactly. So now that we have seen the healing aspects of Sri Rudram, as we have understood that Sri Rudram is the panacea for all sicknesses, all types of illnesses, now we try to understand the universal nature that is expressed in the fifth Anuvaka of Sri Rudram. Bhargav, we see the pair of opposites so very clearly mentioned in this Anuvaka. Namo Bhavaya Cha Rudraya Cha, Kapardine Cha Vyuptakeshaya Cha, Neelagrivaya Cha Shitikantaya Cha, Vamanaya Cha Brihate Cha. All pairs of opposites. What does that mean? When we try to understand that, we all know that the world is dual in nature.
Yeah, and to add to you, just to interrupt you, sorry to interrupt you, but not only the pair of opposites, there's an extensive description of the negativities in the society in the third and fourth Anuvaka. He is the thief, he is the robber, he is the dacoit, he is the one who, roadside when people go in the forest, the one who comes and plunders their wealth, all that. No, in the worldly sense again. But actually, if you talk about the ultimate sense of spiritual sense, he is the one who steals or robs or plunders your heart or the vagaries of your mind and gives you immortality. That is the inner meaning. But in the society also, if you see, there is lot of mention of every aspect of human nature in this.
Exactly. So when we come back to the fifth Anuvaka, where the pair of opposites are mentioned, what is it that the Sri Rudram is trying to tell us or explain to us or make us understand? Swami always tells that the definition of bhakti, the letter in which Swami writes to his brother, Akhila Manavalaku Ananda Managurchi Rakshinchuchundute Dikshanaku, in that, మంచి చెడ్డలు కూడా మనసులో సమముగా భావించుచుండుటే భక్తి నాకు. Means when you treat pain and pleasure, good and bad, happiness and sorrow in the same manner with equanimity, that is called true bhakti. And then I am reminded of a wonderful incident that happened in the life of Professor Kasturi. When his son passed away, it was the grief that a person has when his son passes away is considered to be the highest putra shokam. And then everybody around Kasturi Garu were trying to console him, but very surprisingly, he was not crying or sobbing. When someone went and asked him, "Sir, it is so surprising that you are not feeling bad about your son's demise." And then the answer that Kasturi Garu gives is a beautiful explanation of this equanimous state. He tells, see, all of us are co-travelers in this journey of life. His station had come, he has got down. When my station comes, I have to get down. And then when his son's body was placed on the pyre, he started chanting Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrutyorma Amrutangamaya. It is said that Samatvam Yoga Muchyate. The equanimous mind is that which attains yoga.
So beautifully narrated, Ganesh. So we have covered so many aspects which are about the spirit, about the ultimate goal of life and all that in Rudram. But we just mentioned about the mundane aspect also. We talk about Rudram being Rudram mentioning about the different aspects of human nature. So one interesting aspect which comes in second Anuvaka is Namo Mantrine Vanijaya Kakshanam. So there is a mention of Vanija, the mention of business, and Mantrine is a good counsel. So Shiva is eminent in a good counsel, a mantri, also in the business, the commerce or the market or the economy or whatever you call. I think that is the most important thing in this present world. Being MBA.
Actually, everybody will be wondering, see, we have always talked about the esoteric meaning or the spiritual significance of Sri Rudram, but the insights that Rudram gives us into the mundane aspects of life and also every subject of life is very, very surprising and unique.
Correct. So, if you actually try to analyze the present business scenario or the present scenario
in any walk of life.
Any walk of life. In the human life, when you talk about, there was one particular term, acronym which was formed was VUCA, VUCA. It is volatility, uncertainty, conflict, and ambiguity. So this was something which happened in somewhere in 80s and 90s to describe the a business, how it is, how the present business scenario and the economy is. And in this pandemic time,
The terminology changed.
has changed, and the business gurus and the management gurus are talking about something called as BANI.
Brittle, anxiety, non-linearity, and incomprehensible.
You don't know from where, which wave will come, what will happen to you tomorrow. Are you working from home? Are you going to office? Or there is so much of uncertainty. There are a lot of mental trauma in the family, in the workplace. So but they say that not they say, Rudram says that Mantrane Vanijaya Kakshanam is, but Vanijaya means he is there in the business. He is eminent. The divinity is eminent in the business, the commerce of the present, not present, of the world. So, then definitely there should be a way out of these uncertainties, the VUCA and the BANI, money. So how it is very beautifully told by Swami.
Yes.
I think no one else can give that essence about the business scenario and how should we conduct so that we come successful and we go beyond these vagaries, incomprehensible, non-linear, brittle, anxiety.
Actually, Bhargav, it is our nature of the mind to always go outside.
Yes.
So Swami sees business in a very insightful or introspective manner. So it would be wonderful to listen to Swami about how we know that the reflection of the inner being is what we see outside. So the entire cosmos is there in a very minuscule form inside us. So Swami is telling to observe this wonderful creation called body and how management lessons can be learnt. The Rudra himself, the Shiva himself is telling the Vanijaya, Vanijam Pataye, the Lord of Business and Commerce is telling us how to understand business through this beautiful system called the human body. So we shall listen to Swami.
అన్ని మేనేజ్మెంట్ కంటే కూడాను మ్యాన్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అత్యవసరం.
But of all the types of management, the management of man is most important.
తనను తాను సంపూర్ణంగా గుర్తించినప్పుడే అన్ని రంగములు ఎందుకుడను దాన్ని చక్కగా అర్థం చేసుకోగలదు.
Until you know yourself, even though you may have different exposures, then only you can come forward.
అందున నీవు భారతీయుడు.
Basically, you are all citizens of Bharat.
ఇందులో మన యొక్క తత్వము హిందూ తత్వము.
Our culture is the Hindu culture, the Hindu beliefs.
అమెరికన్, రష్యన్, జర్మనీ, జపాన్ ఇత్యాది వ్యాపారములు ఎందు అనేక విధమైనటువంటి సమస్యలు ఉంటున్నవి.
You may be dealing with Americans, Russians, Germans. You get into contact with all these kind of practices.
ఇవన్నీ కూడా కేవలము ఇమిటేషన్, కాంపిటీషన్తో కూడినటువంటివి.
All these things are only imitation and dealing with competition.
కానీ ఒకానొక కంపెనీ, చాలా అద్భుతమైనటువంటి కంపెనీ, అపూర్వమైనటువంటి కంపెనీ ఒకటి ఉన్నది. దానిని మనం గుర్తించుకున్నప్పుడు సర్వమును గుర్తించుకున్న వారం అవుతాం.
But there is one company which is of our inner path. If we know this company, then we have realized everything else.
అది మానవుని యొక్క లిమిటెడ్ కంపెనీ.
This is the limited company of man.
మనిషి యొక్క దేహములో సర్వమును కొన్ని లిమిట్గానే ఉంటున్నాయి.
In man, in his body, there is a limit for everything.
మన బ్లడ్ ప్రెషరు 120/80 ఇది పర్ఫెక్ట్ నార్మల్గా ఉండాలి.
Our blood pressure is said to be normal perfectly if it is 120/80.
మన దేహములకు ఉష్ణ స్థితి అనేటువంటిది 98.4 or 6 ఇది పర్ఫెక్ట్గా ఉండాలి.
The temperature of our body is said to be normally.
ఈ టెంపరేచర్ 99 పోతే ఇది ఒక రోగం కింద ప్రారంభమవుతుంది.
If it goes from 98.4 to 99, that is the beginning of disease.
ఇంకా మన ఐ బాల్స్ కూడాను ఎంత లైట్నో అంతవరకే చూడగలదు, కానీ అధికమైనటువంటి యొక్క లైట్ని చూసినప్పుడు రెటీనా బర్న్ అవుతుంది.
If our eyeballs see light beyond the limit, then our retina gets burned.
మన ఏ టైమ్స్ కూడా అంతే, మన దేహంలో ఉండిన ప్రతి అంగం కూడాను ఒక హద్దులో ఉంటున్నట్టు.
For every part of our body, there has to be a limit.
కనుకని మానవుని యొక్క జీవితమే ఒక లిమిటెడ్ కంపెనీ.
Man's life itself is a limited company.
నస్సేయో నియమం వినా, ఈ నియమం లేకపోతే జీవితమే ఒక ఇది పెడమార్గం పడుతుంది.
If there is no boundary, if there is no limit, then the life goes on the wrong path.
అయితే ఈ లిమిటెడ్ కంపెనీకి ఎవరు మేనేజర్?
Who is the manager for this limited
ఈ
company?
లిమిటెడ్ కంపెనీకి మైండే మేనేజర్.
This limited company has the mind as its manager.
దీనికి మేనేజింగ్ డైరెక్టర్ అనేటువంటి వాడే బుద్ధి.
The managing director of this company is the buddhi.
కనుక ఈ ఇరువురు కూడాను ఏ విధమైనటువంటి యొక్క కమ్యూనికేషన్ ఈ దేశంలో ఉండినటువంటి సర్వాంగములకు తగినటువంటి సంబంధం కలిగి ఉంటున్నాడో దాన్ని మొట్టమొదట మనం అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి.
We must understand most importantly that these two have connection between them, and they have a connection and communication with every part of the body.
కమ్యూనికేషన్ అంటే కేవలం రైటింగ్ లో కానీ, ఫోన్ లో కానీ, మాటల్లో కానీ ఒకరికొకరికి వ్యక్తిగతమైనటువంటి యొక్క కమ్యూనికేషన్ ఇది కాదు ప్రధానమైనటువంటి.
The communication between two individuals is not only through writing.
శారీర, మానసిక, ఆధ్యాత్మిక, ఇంద్రియ, మనోభావ అన్నిటి యొక్క సంబంధమే నిజమైనటువంటి
It is
కమ్యూనికేషన్.
not only through writing or phone. It is through the senses, through the understanding, through the feeling.
నవ్వుతూ మనకు కమ్యూనికేషన్ ఉంటుండాలి.
There are 9 types of communication.
మన కనుసైగలతో కమ్యూనికేషన్ ఉంటుండాలి.
The first is the communication through the eyes.
ఈ కమ్యూనికేషన్ అంటే ఏమిటి? ఒక అండర్స్టాండింగ్ చేసుకోవాలి.
What is this communication? It is necessary. This is understanding.
అండర్స్టాండింగ్ లేకపోతే ఈ కమ్యూనికేషన్ అనేటువంటి పేరుకి సరైనటువంటి అర్థం లేదు.
When there is no understanding, there is no communication.
ఒక చిన్న ఉదాహరణ,
There is a small example.
మన దేశంలో ఉండినటువంటి ఇంద్రియముల్లో కన్ను ఒక చెట్టు పైన ఉన్న పండును చూచింది.
When our eye sees a fruit on the tree,
కన్ను చూచిన తక్షణమే ఆ ఫలము మన కడుపుకు చేరటం లేదు.
as soon as we see it, it does not reach our stomach.
తక్షణమే మనసు ఆజ్ఞ వేస్తుంది.
Immediately the intention is given by the mind.
అప్పుడు కాళ్ళు కదులుతాయి.
Then the feet take the steps.
చెట్టు దగ్గరికి పోయేటప్పటికి నడుము వంగుతుంది.
As soon as we reach near the tree, we go with the hand comes out.
నడుము వంగిన తర్వాత చెయ్యి రాయి తీసుకుంటుంది.
As it goes down and takes the stone.
రాయి తీసుకుంటేనే భుజం ఆ పండుకు విసురుతుంది.
Then the shoulder throws the stone.
అప్పుడు పండు కింద రాలుతుంది.
Then the fruit falls down.
రాలిన పండును వేళ్లతో అందుకుంటుంది.
Then the fallen fruit is picked up.
అందుకున్నటువంటి ఫలమును నోటికి అందిస్తుంది.
Then it is put to the lips.
నోటి యందు ఉన్నటువంటి పండు దానిని చక్కగా నమిలి జఠరాగ్నికి చేరుస్తున్నాయి.
Then the essence of the fruit reaches the body.
చెట్టుపై ఉన్నటువంటి పండు పొట్టలో చేరాలంటే ఎన్ని అంగములు ఎన్ని రకమైనటువంటి యొక్క సహనభావంతో పనిచేశాయి.
For the fruit to reach the inner body, how many organs have to work together?
ఈ పండు మన ఉదరంలోకి చేరాలనుకుంటే ఏ అంగము ప్రధానమైనటువంటి కర్మ?
For this fruit to reach us, which organ is more important?
ఆ విధంగా చూస్తే అన్ని అంగములు కూడాను సమానమైనటువంటి ఒక దీంతోనే పనిచేస్తూ వచ్చాయి.
If we look in that way, it is necessary for all the organs to work together.
ఇక్కడనే ఆ కమ్యూనికేషన్ ఒకదానికోటి సంబంధం చేరుతుంటారు. ఇక్కడ అన్యోన్య భావము, అనురాగ సంబంధము.
This is the kind of understanding and the unified working which has to be done.
కనుక ఈ విధమైనటువంటి యొక్క అంతర్ సంబంధమైనటువంటి యొక్క అండర్స్టాండింగ్ చాలా అవసరమైనటువంటి.
This inner understanding, this inner relationship is most
ఒక్క
important.
ఇంద్రియమునకు మరొక ఇంద్రియమునకు చక్కని సంబంధ బాంధవ్యం ఉంటుండాలి.
For one sense to the other sense, there has to be a close relationship.
అంతేకాదు ఆ యొక్క అంగములన్నీ కూడాను ఆ ఫలమును మన యొక్క పొట్టకు చేర్చడం చేత పొట్ట కూడాను ఆ యొక్క కృతజ్ఞత రూపమైనటువంటి రీతిగా ఆ జీర్ణం గావించుకొని ఆ యొక్క రసమునంతా కూడా సర్వాంగమునకు సప్లై చేస్తుంది.
Once the fruit reaches the stomach to express its gratitude sends the essence to all parts of the body.
కనుక ఇక్కడ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అంటే ఏమిటి? వర్కర్స్తో కానీ, లేక మార్కెట్ వాళ్ళతో కానీ, అడ్వర్టైజ్ వాళ్ళతో కానీ, షేర్ హోల్డర్తో కానీ అందరితో కూడాను ఒక సన్నిహిత సంబంధ బాంధవ్యం ఏర్పరచుకోవాలి.
So we have seen Swami telling that in order to get a particular fruit, if the stomach has to enjoy that fruit and give the essence to the entire human body, how a lot of understanding and a lot of coordination has to be there with amongst each and every organ of this body In the same way, every department in a business or in a company should go hand in hand, should have that understanding so that that business goes forward and flourishes. That is the depth of understanding that Swami is trying to give us.
And who is the master in this whole scenario? Is the managing director. There is a buddhi. Buddhi which is inspired by our conscience or our Atma. Rathapati, yeah. So, and then the buddhi in turn inspires the mind, which is the manager. And the manager again in turn inspires or makes the body work, the employees. So once we have that type of a amicable cooperative scenario, so any business, anything in this, any company will definitely flourish. So such a beautiful, message for all of us.
Yes. So we have seen the medicinal aspects of Sri Rudram. We have seen how Namasmarana, the Namah Shivaya Panchakshari Mantram, gives an essence to our life. And then we have seen the mundane aspects mentioned in the Sri Rudram. Now, as the Sri Rudram progresses, at the end, we get a very beautiful mantra called the Maha Mrutyunjaya Mantram. Because that is the essence, I think, we need to understand of the entire Sri Rudram and also our own lives.
Correct.
It is always told that the way you leave your body is the way you have conducted your life.
Right.
It's very beautifully told in a shloka. Anayasena maranam vina dainyena jivanam dehime kripaya shambho tvayi bhaktim achanchalam. Requesting Lord Shiva to kindly grant 3 wishes: to give a peaceful death without any bodily troubles, a life without any trouble for the basic needs, and total bhakti towards Lord Shiva.
When you come back to the Mahamrutyunjaya Mantram, which you just now mentioned, there also Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrutyor Mukshi Yamamritaat. One very interesting thing in this, whatever you told, probably connecting to that, the interesting part is Urvaruka, cucumber. That is very strange. How cucumber is related to a very fruitful and a peaceful, fulfilling life. Very interesting, Ganesh. If you see an apple, it just cuts and falls abruptly. And they say also that when you walk in the coastal areas, always be careful of a coconut tree on top. You never know, suddenly one coconut will come and hit your head because it suddenly cuts and falls down. But the beauty of cucumber, it's a creeper. It goes around a tree or a stump or anything. But what it does is when it ripes, it doesn't cut and abruptly fall. Because of the sheer weight of the cucumber, it slowly gets the whole creeper down in a very natural, a very very easy way. It just comes down. So our death should be in that way. There should not be akala mrityu, should not be a sudden death. There should not be a death with pain. Should be in a very natural way. So that is, that simile is of the cucumber. And there is one very interesting episode, I think Ganesh, you will be able to tell about Seshagiri Garu, how it happened.
We all know the first pujari, Sri Seshagiri Garu, who served Swami as the main priest, who used to give arti to Swami and do puja in the mandir from the Pata Mandir days. Once it so happened that he had a very severe fall, and it took him to that level that he was almost ready to leave his body. And he had called all his family members and also relatives and told that, see, it's now time for me to go. And then suddenly Swami comes and tells him, without me giving you a ticket, how can you plan your journey? It is not in your hands. Come down and do your work. And then immediately Seshagiri Garu, the next session, he comes to the Prashanti Bhajan Mandir, and then he starts doing his seva as usual. After a few months, it so happened that once more Sri Seshagiri Garu falls ill. This time, His family members wanted him to take him to a very reputed hospital in Bangalore. But Swami tells that no. He did not go to any hospital. He has to undergo this pain because I am planning to make his final sojourn very easy. And then he recovers from that illness, and very surprisingly, 6 months from then, he is fit and fine, and then he leads his life so very comfortably. And then after 6 months, again he falls ill, and then Swami comes to his bedside. He calls Professor Kasturi Garu along with him, and Professor Kasturi Garu writes in his book, when Swami was sitting with Sri Seshagiri Rao Garu, he asks Kasturi Garu to get him a glass of warm milk. And then as Swami orders him, he gets the glass of milk, and with a tablespoon, Swami feeds the entire milk to Seshagiri Rao Garu and keeps telling him that, Seshagiri Rao, it is Swami who is feeding you. It is Swami who is feeding you. So at the end of the glass of milk, Swami gives the tumbler to Kasturi Garu and gets up, and he walks till the doorstep, turns towards Seshagiri Rao Garu and tells, it's now time for you to go. And then after a few moments, Seshagiri Rao Garu leaves his mortal coil. The body that was supposed to suffer and leave, the touch of the Lord, the grace of the Lord made him leave so very comfortably and so very easily. Anayasena Maranam.
So beautiful, Ganesh. So finally, whenever we come to the last Anuvaka and the last line of it, it's always very special.
Ayam me hasto Bhagavan ayam me Bhagavattaraha.
Can you just elaborate this? What is the meaning of this?
The hands which have worshipped the Lord, the hands that have touched the Lord, are equal to the Lord himself. I worship those hands. So that is such a profound lesson for all of us, because having been given that opportunity to touch Swami, to worship Swami, or whichever form of God you have been worshipping, these hands, the worship that is done even in the form of seva, the divine in the other person is worshipped through these hands. You should be thankful to that Lord for giving us the opportunity to serve him.
Not only that, when you make whatever activity you do with these hands as worship, you transform it into worship. You yourself, who have these hands, will become Shiva himself. So actually you are bowing to yourself in that way. So Swami always says, I am divine, you are also divine. Just that I know, you don't know. So probably when we end with this statement with that bhavam, that I have done this whole parayanam, I have done this worship, this seva or whatever activity, with the bhavam that it is me who is not, it is not me, it is Shiva who is doing this. So finally we'll get that ultimate beatitude or that ultimate realization that we and Swami are one.
I think it's really a blessing for all of us to recollect those wonderful incidents, contemplate on that beautiful form, think about that wonderful Lord on this auspicious occasion of Maha Shivaratri. We all greet you and pray to Swami that he grants us that ultimate state of liberation, mukti. With these few words, we end this satsang, expressing our gratitude for having given us this opportunity to think of him. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.